You're watching Capital City Sunday.
Welcome back. I'm joined now by the 42nd governor of Wisconsin, Tommy Thompson. Thank you for joining me.
Well, Emily, it's an absolute honor and privilege for me to be in your presence and be on your program.
Thanks for coming.
Well, thank you.
So we got a lot to talk about, I think. You know, there's
we
an
always do
there's
it.
there's an
election year.
Yeah.
Everybody,
everybody wants to talk.
Everybody wants to talk. So
I think the biggest thing I want to ask you is President Trump's top advisors are kind of persuading him to not come to Wisconsin to rally and campaign for Governor Scott Walker because they think Walker's going to lose. What do you think about that?
I think it's a mistake. I think it's a big mistake on their part to even consider that. I mean, the election is very close, and nobody can say, emphatically one way or the other. This is an election that's going to go right down to the wire. So this is the place the president should be at. This president should be here in northern Wisconsin, where he's coming, Schofield and Wausau, and he can have an influence on the voters up there and possibly bring Scott Walker across the finish line. And that would be fantastic, be a tremendous feather in his cap. So his advisors should be arguing him to come to Wisconsin, not the opposite, which I hear may not be true, or I'm not sure it's actually true.
And he's also here to rally support for Republican Leah Vukmir, who's very down in polls, though. So do you think Trump coming here is going to help her out? Well,
I think every place Trump has gone, he's had an impact. For however you feel about the individual or your personal opinion about it, he went into Kansas and the sitting governor, and he chose another candidate. That other candidate barely won. Shows the impact of Trump. Trump went into Florida, had an impact on the outcome there. So Trump has got a record of being able to influence a certain number of voters, to go one way or the other. And hopefully when he comes to Wisconsin next week, he'll be able to influence enough people to really help Leah Vukmir as well as Scott Walker and actually get the job done. Scott Walker should be reelected, and there's no question about it. And when you look at the popularity of the people as it relates to the direction of the state, 55% of the people say Wisconsin's going in the right direction. Why would you want to change leaders when you have that kind of percentage saying that Wisconsin is going in the right direction?
Polls are pretty dead. They're pretty dead tied.
Oh, dead
so
even.
We're not sure what is going to happen. But I want to ask you,
That's why the president should be in here, because nobody knows for sure what's going to happen, including you and me, Emily.
Very true. Yeah. Now, with polls so tight, and you're actually back on the campaign trail for
Yes,
Scott Walker, what is Walker's best offense, do you think? I know he's touting the state, he's touting what he's done for the past 8 years, but do you think people are buying it?
Oh, absolutely. I think they're buying the fact that the state's in good condition, because evidenced by the outcome of the poll from Marquette, 55% of the state's going in the right direction. That's a pretty much evidentiary proof that it's going in the right direction by the people. So that's good. Now what he has to do is he has to paint a picture. Where does he want to lead Wisconsin in the third term? Where does he want to go next year and the year after and the year after for Wisconsin? How is he going to create better jobs? How is he going to keep young people in the state of Wisconsin? How is he going to do a better job on the roads? How is he going to do something on prison reform, which is my big issue? And all of these things, he's got to paint a picture, a mosaic out there as to what he's going to accomplish for the people of this state for the third term. People like to have a visionary governor. They like to look ahead and say, what are you going to bring to the party? How are you going to help Wisconsin? How are you going to help the citizens? That's what Scott Walker's got to do tonight in the debate. That's what he's got to do for the next 18 or 19 days to convince Wisconsinites that he's the right person to lead the state for the next 4 years.
Education is also always a huge topic
huge
in any
topic.
race. First introduced by you, restoring school costs by 2/3.
But isn't it strange that both candidates are coming back to Tommy Thompson's position? I should be running.
Hey, but about that, I mean, neither candidate, Evers and Walker, are explaining how to pay for that.
That's true.
What do you think is the solution, and why are they being so vague on it?
Well, I think because it's the right thing to do. You can't say right now, Emily, and people say, well, how are you going to pay for it? The truth of the matter is nobody really knows until they get the budgetary figures. Right now we have a surplus of $500 million, and I think that surplus is growing because Wisconsin has got full employment. And so I think there's going to be money there, but it takes the campaign to get over, to sit down with your analysts and the experts and look at the figures. And when you do that, then you can come up with a way how you're going to pay for it. It's premature, and I can tell you, anybody that says they know how they're going to pay for it now are really not telling the truth, because they don't know. They don't know until the last figures are come in November and December. Once that comes in and they start preparing the budget, then you match up the figures. And both the candidates have said they're going to go to 2/3. They're going to copy a page out of Tommy Thompson. I like that. So let them do it. Let them do it. Let them do it. Emily.
One thing that you've been talking openly a lot about is prisons.
Absolutely.
And the prison reform. My first question about that is the legislature passed this big youth prison overhaul, going to open smaller facilities around the state after the troubling Lincoln Hills, the lawsuits, the millions that are probably going to keep piling up from what has happened in those youth prisons. Do you think it was a smart idea to pass that legislation and to open more prisons across the state?
I'm never in favor right now of opening more prisons. If you close a prison and put in smaller prisons that are steeped towards education and rehabilitation and alcohol and drug treatment rehabilitation, I'm all for that. My idea is let's make an assessment. Some prisoners should not get out. There are some prisoners that are bad individuals and they should stay in. But there are some individuals that just because of a mistake, they've done something, they've been rehabilitated. If we train them, first off, we got to make an assessment. Secondly, we got to then make sure that they're free of alcohol and drug dependency. Then third, we got to educate them for a job. Fourth, we got to match them up with a business like Foxconn, which needs 10,000 employees. Let's match Foxconn up with some individuals and get them trained to take over those jobs in Foxconn, so they got a direct way, a matriculation from prison into the workforce and have a good paying job. That's so much better than just giving the people get them out and say, don't come back. When they're coming back,
because they don't have a plan.
They don't have a plan. This is a whole plan from beginning to end, and that's what I want to do. And that's what I want to sell to the next governor, and hopefully it's Walker, and to the legislature. I think my plan is the best plan for both candidates to adopt.
Now, one thing that's been very talked about is Ed Wall, who is the former corrections secretary, in this tell-all book, making many claims that Scott Walker did not take action to address the problems at Lincoln Hills. Do you believe Ed Wall?
I'm never going to get in a position of saying somebody is not telling the truth, because I don't know. I mean, that's not for me. All I know is Scott Walker has taken a position of closing down that prison because it's got problems, and he wants to build smaller prisons. I'm hoping I can convince Scott Walker and Evers, both of them, to support my plan. My plan is the best plan. Mine is the best thought out plan, and I'm hoping I can get bipartisan support. I think I can. And that's the plan that should be adopted in Wisconsin. We could lead the nation, and we could start turning prisons into vocational schools in this state and then across the country.
The fourth former cabinet member of Walker's administration is now out speaking against him and supporting his opponent, Tony Evers. Do you think this hurts Walker's campaign, that there are so many other people who work directly under him are now saying, I'm going to go with the Democrat?
It doesn't help. Anytime you have negativity this close to the end, it doesn't help. I don't care what kind it is. I don't think it's right that individuals at the 11th hour come out and start accusing or beating up or discussing bad things about your former employer. I just don't think that's right. I don't think Wisconsin is going to put too much stock into it. But anything negative hurts the candidate. And this close to the election, it doesn't help.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you, Emily.
That's it for this edition of Capital City Sunday. I would also like to thank Randy Bryce for joining me today. If you have any interview suggestions or questions for the show, feel free to email me at efannin@wkow.com. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll see you next week.